Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Tuesday, August 19th, day 43 in the Big Brother house. And again, we're looking at an 80-some day pop show season, so we're over halfway. And I did do a short podcast last night about the Power Veto results, so today may be a bit abbreviated, which is fine with me. Because it's a busy week for me. So, as I told you guys in my podcast yesterday, Lauren did indeed use the Power Veto. A little bit, really not a whole lot has happened since then. I mean, a lot has happened, but in the game sense, not a whole lot. And we did learn, and I don't know if I said it I don't know if I knew it yesterday, but we did learn that while the feeds were down, apparently Rachel did tell Lauren that she was going to put up Riley as the replacement nom. Remember, the feeds went down yesterday with with Lauren in the head of household bathroom with Rachel, and they were still talking about things, and so we didn't know what the discussion happened there per se, and it turns out that Rachel did say, I will put up Riley if you use the Power Veto. So that news came out, and driving issues. So that came out last night, and that word got around within the house in that Rachel did Rachel tell Riley? I don't remember, but Lauren told Catherine at least, and I think Keanu, and it got back to Riley in a roundabout way. I don't know in the end if it makes a big difference, but it is a little data point to keep in your mind. So what else happened? I mean, there was an excruciatingly long meeting between Rachel and Riley where virtually nothing was said. And a lot of dead air, which I actually recorded, and then I just thought, nah, I'm not dealing with this. I was going to put a bed of, music to fill the dead air, and then I just said, Dad, I'm not doing it. I just kind of went, it's not worth it. So it was just, you were just waiting for something to happen, and it was really almost a game of chicken between Riley and Rachel, where it was like, okay, who's going to say something or who's going to leave? And eventually, I think it was Riley that blinked, like, well, guess we're kind of done talking here. And then they both hugged and they left. And Rachel did, after Riley walked out of the room, Rachel did first she kind of rolled her eyes like exasperated, but she also said, looking at the camera, of course I feel horrible. Like, I feel bad for this. But honestly, if she knew how much the Big Brother fandom was not a fan of Riley, she wouldn't feel as bad as she does probably. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. I just don't. I'm kind of, it's like, I don't know. I still don't know what all the facts are about Riley. I even looked this morning as I was trying to catch up real quick. I didn't learn anything new really this morning. Nothing had changed from when I went to bed, for the most part. But I saw, just regular fans and stuff, and one of the comments was about Riley, and someone said, "Has there been talk about his baby?" Or it's like someone's like, and someone else was kind of like, well, "We don't know for sure what his real life status is," and the other person was like, "There's articles," and yet it's like, where? I have not seen what I would consider a legitimate news source reporting on legitimate children that Riley is the parent of. Now, I will say that somewhere I read an article that somewhere, but I don't know the source of an article is such a vague term, right? Anybody can make a website and make it look like a news website and post, quote, news. So you have to kind of filter through that. I was like, what is this? Because, I don't know, some site I got linked, that I linked to, or I found couple of days ago. It looked like it was a radio or a TV station website. At least it was like it had like radio or TV station call letters. But I don't know if it was legit. And all it had quoted was Blue Sky. Actually, it was probably Twitter posts. Like, those are facts? Because they aren't facts. It's like, well, Catherine's stepmom, Catherine's stepmom says this, and this person says this, and it's like, okay, none of this is factual information, other than coming from social media. So, I do not know what Riley's backstory is, other than I've seen enough reports that he's had issues with driving, right? With speeding, and possibly, I say, with some kind of an operating while intoxicated, or I'm not even 100% sure on that. So I would say he's had problems with parking, with driving, with speeding tickets, and maybe with some kind of operating with a suspended license or something. That's about the extent that I know. I have not seen anybody linked to, here's the court case where his if he has a baby, the mother of his purported baby was suing him for child care, or, I haven't seen that. And to me, there should be court records out there somewhere if someone wants to take the time to find them. But instead, people seem to be very happy to default to, well, there's stuff out there somewhere. I've seen it on Facebook, or I've seen it. I don't know. That is all to say, okay, given all that, that just falls into the, okay, I'm not calling him a deadbeat dad. I'm not going to do that. I just don't even know. However, the way he has treated Catherine in the house on the feeds that we have seen is a bit concerning. It's a bit controlling. It's as I said, I think yesterday, it went from Riley was following her around like a lovesick puppy, and now where he's demanding kisses, he's getting a bit angry with her. Even, who was it? I think it was Ashley and Will talking about their relationship last night and saying that they're definitely a couple, but they fight a lot for being a couple. Okay, so at this stage of their relationship, that might be a bit concerning. I don't know. I just want to kind of throw all that out there. I keep doing this, and I don't want to make it the only thing I talk about for sure. But just be aware that it's out there. So, do I feel sorry for Riley? No, not particularly. But it's not for the reasons that, this outside the house stuff. I'm only talking about his actions inside the house that I'm not particularly proud of. So there's that. So as far as, let's go back to the Big Brother game in the Big Brother house. Riley is nominated. I'm not sure who's on course to get evicted this week at this point. It's very interesting that suddenly after this power veto meeting happened, that Morgan and Mickey end up in the head of household room with Rachel. Rachel's kind of hiding out. So it's kind of like, oh, suddenly you're friendly with Rachel. And not that they were ever unfriendly with Rachel, but Mickey 2 days ago was basically lecturing Rachel about how, she shouldn't have put her up, or she made a mistake. And now she's all like buddy with Rachel. So it's just funny. It's relationships of convenience, relationships of whatever it needs to be. It's Big Brother, and it's okay. That's fine. I keep laughing at people making comments about it's a messy cast, it's a bad cast. I'm like, they are keeping us talking. There is not a dull moment going on. You may not like it for strategical purposes. And I go back to my reaction during the pandemic when I played Sequester, and I'm suddenly, playing a somewhat version of Big Brother / Survivor online with a bunch of 20-something-year-olds, and their game analysis is so, in some ways, academic, like game theory, like, well, this is what you do in this situation, and this is how you play this, and this is what you, and this is, and not that they are all that way, but there were some of them that were very much that mindset. And I think it's partly those people that are going, this isn't how you play Big Brother. You don't do it. There's unwritten quote rules. There's ways that it's like, no, this is how you play a very messy social game of Big Brother. And I don't know, maybe it's not like it was in the early Big Brothers, but to me, I'm like going like, I've seen this kind of gameplay before. It's messy gameplay, but it's fun to watch. It doesn't get boring. There's always something going on. So I'm enjoying it. And I'm sure production is enjoying it too, because they can keep things going. There's always something to throw up on the screen, right? There's more than enough to throw up on the screen. Okay, what else did I want to... There's something else niggling at the back of my brain that I wanted to talk on before I wrap this up. It's right there. I can't, it's about the gameplay, but I can't think of what it was. We're fine. We've got 2 more days to work this out. I don't know right now where things stand. I want to say I think Riley's okay, but I also think that he could dig himself in a hole. And I actually put this out last night or yesterday. At some point, if it hasn't already happened, it probably has at this point now. I did it with the Captain Obvious GIF when I posted it. They're going to say, wow, if we get rid of Riley, then we've got Catherine. You know, Catherine's a free agent. She doesn't have it. She's been so glued to Riley the last few weeks that she'll need people to team up with. So we should get rid of Riley, and that way we can lock Catherine in, right? So I haven't heard it explicitly discussed. It probably has been, and I probably missed it, but it's a thing. I can't see, person with the car the way you're parked. Your nose is way out of the intersection. Okay. So, it's turned into one of those mornings. Let me look at how long I've been talking. How long have I been talking? I've been talking for 12 and a half minutes. Okay. Anything else I can think of? Not for right now. We've got Tuesday, we've got all of Wednesday, and we'll work through these and figure out where things are headed. But again, it's going to be, there's going to be drama. There's going to be I know what it was. I remembered. Here we go. So another Eric from, I think it's Your Reality Recaps or Your Reality. I can't remember what his website is. He's been posting lately, and he said something, and this isn't I'm not calling him out for anything other than just to say he made the comment, because it's the great thing about this. We can have discussions and opinions, right? He said something about how Rachel was saving the season. That if it weren't for Rachel, the season would be a total bore fest. And my answer or my comment to that comment was, I don't know. I think if Rachel wasn't in the house, we'd have a completely different season. I think characters would have developed differently. Zay, if you think about it, who's been responsible for half the house guests that are out of the house in some form? Rachel has had her finger in the eviction of at least half the house guests. She went after Zay week 1. She put a big old target right on him and decided, this is who I'm going to go after, and call him out, and you mess with the queen and you lose your head. Her close relationship with Amy caused her to be taken out. And I would say that her close relationship with Jimmy did the same. So 3 of the 6 house guests, 3 of the 5 house guests that have been evicted so far, at least, were in large part due to Rachel being in the house. So how can we talk about how the house would have been if without Rachel? It would have been different, a lot different. I think different people would have been evicted. I think different people would have been nominated. So, and we'll never know, right? So anyways, I just wanted to, that's my spiel for why having alumni in with one alumni in the house is it changes the game dramatically, and it has, and that's okay. I'm resigned to it, so we're going with it. And as I've posted, I wish Rachel wasn't in the house, but she is in the house, so we're going with it. And that will be my story going all the way. And odds are very high that Rachel's going to get to the end. Is she going to win? I don't know. But right now, she's got a strong possibility, because I don't know. I mean, if she's out, great. And I don't mean that in a negative way to her. I'm not anti-Rachel, but I just don't see it happening so far. I haven't seen the group. It could be in a double. It could be in a double where you have a little time to think, and it just happens quickly, and suddenly, boom, she's gone. That the double always throws some weird wrench into things. Or if it's a triple, and they've got to pick things up, because it's a shorter schedule, and we had 17 house guests, right? So they're going to have to at some point do some major evicting. All right, that's it. We're done for the day. 16 minutes. Hope you guys have a good Tuesday. And thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow with more news, info, all that good old stuff. And we'll sign off now. I'm like, I want to tell you more. Nope, we're done talking. We're out of here. See you guys. Bye-bye.